I'm very happy to be here and talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, namely creating a great customer experience. When I was preparing this presentation, I asked my colleagues if they recently had a great customer experience. And one of my colleagues told me, yes, I recently had one, and that's my colleague Fernand, and he is a functional manager. And he works with Hotjar, and with Hotjar you can create heat maps. So we're both working for the municipality of The Hague right now, and this is what Hotjar does. So this is a heat map, and the red spots, they show where the customers click on, the visitors click on. So Fernand had a question he wanted to ask Hotjar, namely if he could save the heat maps, including the number of clicks. So he could be able to compare the heat maps. So he went to the Hotjar website, and he went to the top right, where the contact button is, and he clicked on it, and there was a form popping up in which he could enter his name, his function, and his question. And he pressed the submit button, and immediately after that, the form became a chat conversation with someone from Hotjar. So there is his question on top. Is there a possibility to save the heat map? And he gets a reply from Damien saying, hey, Fernand, because he knows that his name is Fernand because he filled in the form. So there is an interaction between him and Damien, Fernand and Damien. And he says, thanks for reaching out. We currently don't offer the option of saving a heat map. However, I will add it to our idea pipeline, and I will get back to you if I have some news. Great, says Fernand. Thanks. I have another question, namely, is there a possibility, are you accessible? Is Hotjar an accessible tool? Because accessibility is very important for us as a municipality. Well, and then Damien says, well, no, sorry, that's not on our top list of things we want to do, but I want to be totally open and honest with you and tell you that. I don't want to lie. So, and Fernand says, well, that is highly appreciated. And I asked Fernand, well, why did you think that this was a great customer experience? And Fernand says, well, because they were open, they listened to me, they were coming back to me when I was asking the question. A couple of weeks later, they contacted me and saying, hey, we actually did something with the information you gave it, with us, with the idea you gave us, and we're now able to save heat maps. And that is, So I asked Fernand, what is the most important thing that you found through this conversation? And he said, well, listening. They listened to what I had to say. And why should you care? Why should you care about listening and creating a great customer experience? Well, according to Forrester research, customer experience drives 3 types of loyalty, namely retention. People, your customers, if your customers are loyal, they will stay your customers. Enrichment, your customers that are loyal will also spend more money on in your company. And advocacy, well, I am telling you right now the story about Fernand and Hotjar. So that is very important. And there are several ways to listen to your customers. And the best way, there isn't a best way. You have to mix and match your own way. You can use surveys. Surveys are very passive, so you can ask a customer okay, how was your overall experience? Were you able to complete your visit from beginning to end? Tell me what went wrong. Tell me if you have any ideas. But you can also create a focus group and invite your best customers and ask them over for a cup of coffee. Focus group, you can do that with your best customers, and it's a win-win situation because they will tell you, they want you to tell them what's on your mind, what hypothesis you have, and they can give you instant feedback. Observation, if you have a shop, you can observe your customers, but you can also do that online, like with Hotjar is a way of observing your customers. Social media is like having your focus group at your fingertips 24/7, so you can do something with that. And something I want to dive more deeper into here is customer service, because I have experienced myself that is very, very important, a very important way. Because if you have a customer service department, then the customer service agents are actually talking to your customers like every day, one-on-one conversations. And that gives an enormous amount of information you can actually use. And it's free, because a lot of companies spend a lot of money on marketing. Like, they're paying companies like to give an answer to a question like, who is my customer? What does he want? Well, when in fact the customer service department can easily give an answer to that question. So I really love this image because it depicts very beautifully what goes on in so many organizations. Like, you have a clear division between the call center on the one hand and the rest of the organization on the other hand. Because many organizations work in silos. You have the marketing department, you have the billing department, the human resource department, and they all have their own tone of voice, their own way of working, and they often do not work together. So what a customer wants is an end-to-end, seamless customer experience. And that is something that if that doesn't work like that, if the customer doesn't experience it like that, then the call center will receive a lot of phone calls with complaints. So many people in organizations see that as a problem in itself, like, oh, we're having so many telephone calls, when in fact the telephone calls are a symptom of something that goes on, that is going wrong in the other side of the organization. So it's very important to bring those two together. And I myself, I have done a lot of optimization projects for websites. And I was in the billing department, or in the content department. And my starting point was Google Analytics or interviews I did myself. But it wasn't until I started working for the municipality of The Hague that I saw the true value of a call center. And I started using it. So we're doing a program right now which is called WOCAS. And WOCAS is short for what our customers are saying. So we created a team of the call center agents, the process owners, and the process owners, they analyze what the call center agents are saying, and they prioritize it. And also they look at it from a bigger perspective. Like if call center agent says, well, this is a problem, then the process owner thinks, okay, but how does this influence the whole customer experience? And if I change something, what will be the outcome on the other side? And of course, you also have the business owners because they own the process, they have the money, and you have to interact with them. So we asked and we still do, our call agents to write down the most important complaints that the customers are talking about. So they write in a system what goes wrong and where and how often it occurs. And also they use the typical voice, the voice of the customer. So they write down what the customer actually is saying to them. And also, if he has an idea how to fix it, also if the customer has an idea how to fix it. So they write it down in a system. If you don't have time to write it all down, you can also, as a process owner, interview your customer, your agents, and that is quicker, but this is a better way, of course, to do it. And he or she doesn't do that alone. We ask many agents to do it all together, and we collect 500 voices, problems of our customers. And then they are put in the WOCAS system. And what I do as a process owner is I prioritize them. So I see if there is a pattern between the voices, and I combine them and make them into an issue. And I assign it to a business owner, and I prioritize it based on how angry the customer is, or how important it is to reach the company goals. And then you have to start working, start solving the problems. So how do you do that? First and for all, you have to eliminate the dumb contacts. If you do that, then you're already saving 20% of your contacts. So dumb contacts are okay, we're people calling because a link doesn't work, people calling because a button doesn't work, people calling because a page isn't available. That's 20%. Then you have to create engaging self-service. And how do you do that? Well, you have to keep the customer in mind and think about that he or she is standing somewhere with his telephone in his hand and has a question and wants to solve the problem himself. People don't want to call for help, they want to solve the problem. So you have to find a way to give it to him or her. For example, using a video or a tool, create a tool. You also have to be very proactive. So you have to know, okay, now we're doing this, we probably get a lot of telephone calls because people want to know the status of their purchase, for example. Well, if you know that, then you have to communicate in another way how long it takes before he or she will get what he has purchased. So you have to think about the customer, his customer journey, and be proactive. And make it easy to contact your company. It is often very frustrating if I want to make a telephone call to a company and I cannot find a telephone number. I myself want to decide whether I'm making a telephone call or not, and I find it very irritating if the company makes that decision for me. Assign ownership, and especially if you're working in a larger company which works with silos, then assign someone who is responsible for the overall content experience, for the overall customer experience. Listen and act. Do something, listen, see how the customer responds to it, and do something else to improve the customer experience. And design and deliver great experiences. Think about what the customer wants next. For example, at the municipality of The Hague, people can make an image of a problem. For example, there is a bike rack and they want to have it removed. So they take a picture of it, send it to us. And then we can, of course, what we already do is answer well, we have removed the bike rack. But what we're working on right now is that the people who are removing the bike rack can also take a picture and send it to the customer that asked the question in the first place. So what I do is I take all the issues and I tag them, because 500 voices can be a lot of, voices of customers to think about. So you have to, I will tag it like eliminate. So that's a quick fix. Do something about it and gone. Simplify is how to simplify your process. For example, we sent a letter asking people to pay a bill in 4 days' time, and we said, okay, and the specifications will come later in another letter. So people were complaining about that, and then we put 101 together and put all the information in one letter. So it's sometimes as simple as that. Automate is that a lot of people call us and ask us what's the status of something. So we are working on automating that. And leverage is, okay, it's a win-win combination. What can we do to improve the overall experience? And for most issues, we work on a plan, do, check, act circle. But sometimes you have to go to the higher management and to make an improvement. For example, at the municipality, there are, if Dutch people living abroad want to renew their passport, they come to the Netherlands on holiday and they want to make an appointment to renew their passport. And what we discovered was that there weren't enough possibilities for them to make an appointment. So they were highly frustrated because they really had to come to the municipality to renew it. There was no other way, so they were frustrated. So we showed the higher management the voices, so you can use the voices of the customers in the show, don't tell principle. And we asked them to have more people working on in holiday season to help those customers. And I will conclude with some extra tips and tricks. So if you want to make this a success, you have to convince your manager that the customer experience is a goal in itself for the entire company, that everyone should work on it and that he has to make it a strategic success. You have to share your successes with the rest of the company. Make it a team effort. Like, thank your agents for giving you a great idea and show them that you actually did something with that. The same for your customers. If your customers were complaining about something and you created a solution, phone him or her and tell him or her what you did with it. Be flexible, especially when you're working in a larger organization. And last but not least, celebrate your success and have fun. Thank you.